208 from Brooklyn. Don't miss it.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, coming at you as I love to do. Every weekday afternoon over the airwaves of 98.7 FM in New York, 710 ESPN LA, and of course, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80. The number to call up as always is 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Got a lot of stuff to get into today. Victor Cruz getting cut by the New York Giants. Magic Johnson looking to take over the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, some NFL news to touch on, no doubt about that. Charles Oakley in New York City banned from Madison Square Garden by James Dolan. We'll be talking about that as well this afternoon on the Stephen A. Smith Show. But the first order of business is to get into the Oklahoma City Thunder losing to the Golden State Warriors. There's several items to talk about, several items to touch on. First things first, Kevin Durant's a bad boy. We say what we want to say. We can act like we don't know. And I still contend to you that it was the weakest move I have ever seen by a superstar for him to depart Oklahoma City to go on the gravy train that was the Golden State Warriors with the greatest shooting backcourt in history in the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green still there, with Andre Iguodala still there, with Sean Livingston and the crew still there. This is not tantamount to LeBron James going to South Beach. LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade had never played with one another. There was a foundation upon which to build, which explained why they lost in the NBA Finals to the Dallas Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki the first go-round, before beating Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook's Oklahoma City Thunder for LeBron's first title, and then repeating by beating the San Antonio Spurs. Let's call this what it is. Let's touch on this right now. Kevin Durant jumped on the gravy train. But having said all of that, that doesn't mean that he deserves to be disrespected, like we're going to act like we don't know about the greatness of this kid. And he was booed vehemently. You heard those folks loud and clear, going absolutely off. That is what happened. And when I think about what I saw from Kevin Durant, I got to tell y'all something that really, really resonates with me. Oklahoma City fans are great, and they do come out and support their team. And there is absolutely positively no denying that. However, to boo Kevin Durant to that degree, it's like, really? Really, y'all going there? I mean, they booed him every time he touched the ball. They booed him every time he made a basket. They booed him the second they saw him. When he came out for warm-ups, he came out with his headphones on so he didn't have to hear the boos. His mama was in attendance, listening to the vitriol aimed at her son, a son who, by the way, was known for his philanthropy, known for his charity to that Oklahoma City community. To this day, by the way, he still gives to the local community there. And I think that the reason why I seem to be taking a calmer approach to him is because I was standing near the tunnel by Oklahoma City's bench, and it literally got to a point where at one time, one guy screamed, "Yeah, he gives money to the kids and the community. So what? He left us. Bleep him." And I'm like, really? 9 years? Most of it as an all-star, 4-time scoring champion, league MVP, taking you to several conference championship series, took you to one NBA finals. And he was a pillar of the community all at the same time. And you going to say that? See, I thought that was a little bit excessive. But I expected Kevin Durant. I shouldn't say I expected him to wilt. I wanted to see whether or not he was going to. And what did Kevin Durant do? He comes out there, ladies and gentlemen. He hits 12 of his 21 shots. He finishes with 34 points and 9 rebounds. He hit 3 of his 6 3-point shots, including an ISO over Russell Westbrook. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook's talking smack. Yeah, I'm coming. And Kevin Durant's like, bring it on. And I'm expecting, if you're expecting him to wilt beneath the duress and the pressure and the stress, he didn't do that. He said, no, let's go. And then some dude named Andre Roberson, who, by the way, is a good defensive player. But Roberson's offense is so putrid, so horrible. I mean, his offense is offensive. His offensive game is offensive. That's how bad of an offensive player he is. Other than dunking, ain't a damn thing he could do. And he had the nerve to get in Kevin Durant's face. His former teammate got in his face nose to nose, like he was going to do something to him. And Kevin Durant was like, are you kidding me? Have you lost your mind? Who do you think you're dealing with? And I didn't blame him, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't blame him one bit. Who the hell did this guy think he was dealing with? The nerve. Andre Roberson? You, of all people? And I looked at all of that and I said, you know something? I got to appreciate what Draymond Green is saying here. Draymond Green was the one that said, when you talk smack to KD and you get in his face, that's when he comes at you. That's when that beast comes out. And you know what it had me thinking about? Kevin Durant, you're going to have to make sure that that beast comes out of you when you go up against LeBron in these NBA Finals. Because we all know it's inevitable. San Antonio's too slow. James Harden and the Houston Rockets are probably going to get to the Western Conference Finals. But how many weapons do they have? I just can't see it. By the way, James Harden's going to be on the show. I did an interview with James Harden for the Houston Rockets. It's going to air tomorrow. And in that piece, James Harden has demanded that I shoot the basketball. He made me get out on the court, shirt and tie and all. What I would affectionately ask all of you who love me, and there are a lot of you, I would ask you that you not watch First Take tomorrow. Could you do me that favor? Just avoid First Take at all costs. Don't watch the damn show. Because let me tell you something right now. I don't need to be laughed at like I'm going to be laughed at tomorrow. Please, don't watch it. Trust me on this. If you love me, you will stay away from watching First Take tomorrow. Because boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, let's just say it was a bad day for me at the office. Let's just say that, okay? I'm much, much better than I put on display. And James Harden hoodwinked me. He sabotaged my performance. But I digress. My point in saying all of that is to say this. Kevin Durant and Golden State Warriors are going back to the NBA Finals. And with his performance under such duress in Oklahoma City this past Saturday night, a game in which I attended, his performance in that game had me saying, he plays like this in terms with that attitude, Golden State Warriors going to win the chip. The only way to beat him is for him not to be that way. And how is he not that way? When you're very nice to him and he has love for you. You know how LeBron likes to hug him all the time? And how good friends they are and how they worked out together in the offseason? No wonder why LeBron's record is 18-5 against KD, including a win in the NBA Finals. And 5 straight before finally losing to KD's Golden State Warriors on January 16th. LeBron ain't a bad guy. He ain't a pariah, not in the eyes of Kevin Durant. That's his boy. He's going to show him love. So it's going to be up to Draymond Green to pull that beast out of Kevin Durant so he can go at LeBron James the way he's supposed to, because that's how you're going to beat him if you're going to beat him. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. 866-729-ESPN is the number to call up. This 866-729-3776. We'll continue talking about KD and the performance of the Golden State Warriors. We'll get into Russell Westbrook and what he revealed based off of Saturday's performance and his behavior. We'll also start dissecting who, if anybody, legitimately has a shot at knocking off Golden State. Because I ain't going to lie to you. Watching them, I don't see it right now. I just don't see it. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Hey, baseball fans, I'm Buster Olney. And on the latest Baseball Tonight offseason podcast, Major League Baseball is talking about a radical change to its strike zone. The Pirates are moving Andrew McCutchen to right field. We talk to Jason Stark, Doug Glanville, Chelsea James of the Washington Post.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Look, being at this game Saturday night, there's a few things that you peeled from it. I mean, you got to give the Warriors a lot of credit because they embrace moments, and I don't think they get enough credit for that. You know, they walked into that arena understanding that it was important to Kevin Durant that they win that basketball game. And not only was it important to him that they win the game, but the Golden State Warriors said, you know, we ain't going to let him down. We going to make sure we embrace this moment for him. We ain't going to leave him hanging all by himself. We ain't going to let that happen. So they deserve a boatload of credit for that. That cannot be denied. Then you have the other element, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And on one hand, these are the emotions. Russell Westbrook talking smack to KD and I'm coming and all of this other stuff. Russell Westbrook, you found yourself feeling sorry for him. 47 points on 14 to 26 shooting. He was a one-man army. And listen, the turnover, he's trying to do everything because nobody was making a shot. I don't care about the 20 points Victor Oladipo scored. He didn't show up. He just did it. Steven Adams didn't show up. Murrow didn't show up. They made a couple of shots, but nobody really helped Russell Westbrook. He was left hanging. It's just that simple. And when you think about how he's left hanging, you know, you got to ask yourself a question. Listen, I respect the Oklahoma City Thunder as an organization. I respect Sam Presti. I really, really do. And maybe it's not him, it's ownership. But 4 years ago or so, when they lost in the finals to the Miami Heat, the Oklahoma City Thunder have had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Serge Ibaka. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 of the 4 are gone. 3 of the 4 are gone. Now, I like Enes Kanter a lot. Don't tell me he was Serge Ibaka. I like Steven Adams, but he clearly played better having Serge Ibaka as a teammate. He might have career highs or whatever, but he just doesn't seem nearly as effective as we grew accustomed to seeing him. Not only do you have that, but keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that when the Oklahoma City Thunder ended up trading away, when they ended up trading away James Harden, do y'all remember what happened? Or have your memories left y'all? Because I'm here to tell you something right now. Pay attention to it. There was no reason for them to lose James Harden. Do you know why the Oklahoma City Thunder lost James Harden? I mean, do y'all remember that story? Have y'all forgotten about it? When they traded him to the Houston Rockets in October of 2012, they were unable to work out an extension. So they traded James Harden for Kevin Martin and Jeremy Lamb, 2 first-round picks, and a second-round pick. Are you kidding me? And guess what the reason was? $4 million. Not $4 million per year, a grand total of $4 million. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder will tell you that James Harden wanted to be the man. And maybe that's true because we understand he's worthy of being the man. He's my leading candidate for league MVP honors right now. He's a bad somebody. The successor to Kobe Bryant. He wins rings, we'll be talking about him arguably in the same breath. If he wins rings and he doesn't play in the way that he's playing. Because James Harden is on that level. But we also got to take one thing into consideration that simply can't be ignored. How do you lose all of these players if you're Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder? You trade away James Harden for $4 million? $4 million. Instead of keeping the core group intact so you can try to get a championship. These are the kind of things that are coming back to haunt him. And when you take that into consideration, then you got to ask yourself a question. How much can Kevin Durant really be called to the carpet for all of this? I mean, if you're Kevin Durant and you watch them lose James Harden and they trade away Serge Ibaka, how much patience are you going to have? In fairness to Kevin Durant, we got to ask ourselves those questions. As weak as the move was for him to go to Golden State, that particular team, he certainly was justified in leaving Oklahoma City. And I like Oklahoma City. I like him as an organization. But you talk about letting opportunity slip out the door. Legitimate argument can be made. That's exactly what they did. 866-729-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 866-729-3776. To the phones we go. Davidson in New York, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up?
Stephen A., good afternoon, brother. How you doing, man?
Good afternoon. Go ahead, bro.
Good. All right, so my Warriors are looking as elite and dominant as possible. One thing I wanted to ask you touched on it earlier. Durant's basically dog-like mentality. Like, I don't know if you remember that shot, that step back he made on Westbrook, and that he stared down the entire bench and Westbrook as Westbrook went to the bench. If we get that mentality from Durant, and also I would want my boy Curry to have that same mentality as well. If both of those guys get that mentality, who's stopping us?
Yeah, I got you. We'll see. I don't see anybody stopping you right now. By the way, to be exact, that year in 2012, when Harden was traded away, Oklahoma City had offered him $55.5 million over 4 years. He wanted $60 million. They wouldn't go above the 55.5. So for $4.5 million, the Oklahoma City Thunder ended up trading away James Harden. Good Lord. Good Lord. James in Oklahoma City, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, James? How you doing?
Hey, Stephen A. How you doing, man? It was good to see you this weekend in Oklahoma City.
Thank you, sir. It was good being there. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, you kind of answered one of my questions, was how much blame does the Thunder organization have with Durant leaving, and because they kind of just, I mean, I think the straw that broke the camel's back was when them traded Serge Ibaka for Oladipo, who's pretty much hadn't improved since the whole time he's in the NBA, and I just think maybe it had something to do with it. I am glad, though, that Oklahoma City kind of stood up to the bully, though. I mean, I knew as a fan that they were going to come in there and beat us by 15+, and I think that's going to happen next time, whether Cantor's in the game or not. But I do like the fact that they are in his face, and that Roberson did get in his face. Yeah, he can't hit, but he's not there for his offense. He's there for his defense.
I know, but my goodness, could you do something offensively, please? I mean, how many times? Do you realize that Russell Westbrook should have had 20 assists Saturday night? They could.
Absolutely.
How many open shots can he get the man?
And that's the whole team. I mean, the whole team's like that. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's sad because, I mean, we don't have nothing in Oklahoma City. You know that, Stephen A. We don't have a baseball team, football team. We got college, but we don't have no professional.
Russell Westbrook is literally carrying the team and the city on his back because he doesn't have any help.
And do you think and now they don't have any cap room after signing Oladipo to get anybody like a Blake Griffin to maybe to help him a little bit to make some noise? I wouldn't say have a chance.
I got to look at your numbers. I do think you'll be able to get somebody, but who's going to want to come?
Yeah.
That's the issue. That's the issue. And this is what I mean. It's almost unforgivable that it's almost unforgivable that you do not keep at least two of those stars.
Yeah,
I mean, to lose three of the four, I don't know how that can be defended. I really, really don't.
Thunder right now, if they'd have kept Harden, could be what they're calling Golden State as the big three.
Yeah.
I mean, with Harden, Durant, and Westbrook, I mean, that's almost an unstoppable force offensively. But do you think there's any chance they have any trade value to get anybody like Melo? Would he even entertain
Melo would not come to
idea?
Oklahoma City. Melo would not come to Oklahoma City. You can scratch that dream. That's not happening. But I got to run, man. I appreciate the call. 866-729-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 866-873-3776. We've talked about Russell Westbrook. We talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder and their loss against the Golden State Warriors. We'll continue to talk about Kevin Durant and his performance Saturday night. Russell Westbrook, how hurt he is, obviously, by Kevin Durant leaving, no matter how much he tries to hide it. We'll also get into Charles Oakley being banned from Madison Square Garden by James Dolan, chairman of the New York Knicks and MSG. Stick around. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
The deal. And I'm not talking about basketball here again. I'll get into James Dolan and the New York Knicks in just a little bit. Don't you worry. But some breaking news coming down the pike. The New York Giants have cut two people. They've cut running back Rashad Jennings, who I interviewed during Super Bowl week. Sort of got the impression he saw this coming. And they cut Victor Cruz, who's 30 years of age and should have seen this coming. Look, if you're the New York Giants, you've got Odell Beckham Jr. and this kid Sterling Shepard, who are two studs. I genuinely like Victor Cruz in hopes that he ends up landing somewhere. Got to remember, he's less than 3 years removed from major knee surgery. He would have counted for about $9.4 million against the Giants' salary cap next season. And by letting go of Victor Cruz, it'll free up $7.5 million in cap space. All right? Letting go of Rashad Jennings, he was set to count about $3 million against the cap. And let him go will save the Giants $2.5 million. So between Victor Cruz and Rashad Jennings, the New York Giants just saved themselves $10 million in cap space. That's why I hate a hard cap in the NFL. But here's the biggest thing. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Odell Beckham Jr., a good young dude, smart, a bit emotional at times, but an electrifying talent, I think has taken far too many hits for some of his transgressions. It doesn't mean that we don't point out the mistakes. It doesn't mean we don't point out the mistakes. But the way folks got on him, I mean, damn, he's 23 years old. Wasn't the smartest decision in the world for him to be on an off day and go to Miami. That's fair. But here's my issue. I always felt he was the one that got hit too hard over that. The person, as much as I like him, who deserved to get hit for that was Victor Cruz. You're 30 years of age. You are a Super Bowl champion. What kind of influence, what kind of example are you setting by going with them to Miami on an off day the very week you're scheduled to play the Green Bay Packers in the playoff games? Yes, you got back in time. Yes, y'all had a good practice week. That ain't the point. It's the week of the game. You got a game in 6 days at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. What the hell are you doing going to Miami, even if it is an off day, to party with the fellas? And if you are Victor Cruz, you got to know better. No, it wasn't illegal. No, you didn't break any team rules either or anything like that. But you've got to know the optics of that. You got to know how that looks, which is not very good. And so now you got cut. Where you going from here? I feel bad, but it's just the truth. I want Victor Cruz to get a job. I want him to make his money. I love seeing him do the salsa dance when he scores a touchdown. But we haven't had many of those visions in this day and age, have we? He's been hurt the last 3 years for the most part. Those are the things that we have to look at. Those are the things that are inescapable. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. I feel bad for him. I really, really do. James in New Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, James?
Stephen A., what's up, man?
Going on. I'm doing great, man. Talk to me.
Going back to the Kevin Durant thing, I want to make 2 quick points. When he actually went, when he said he was leaving and stuff like that, I knew the NBA was doomed. I mean, I love basketball. I'm a basketball fan my whole entire life. Played it. I knew the NBA was doomed. I love LeBron James, my favorite player ever. But I was like, there's no way that this guy can beat these guys now with the roster that they have right now. It's just not going to happen. And also, just another point, I'm an NBA 2K fanatic. I love the game. I didn't even buy it this year because there's absolutely no point. someone picks the Golden State Warriors, what I'm going to do? Nothing.
Yeah.
No point in playing it.
Good point. I mean, listen, that's my problem. That's why I think that Kevin Durant ruined the season. I got to wait until I said the regular season. Doesn't mean that it ain't going to be an interesting series in the playoffs. Doesn't mean that it won't be a very compelling NBA Finals. My problem with Kevin Durant going to Golden State is he took the interest in the theater out of sports because he so dramatically tipped the balance of power in the